Welcome to San Francisco this afternoon from Candlestick Park, the final game in the three-game series between the Atlanta Braves and the San Francisco Giants. I'm Pete Manwaring along with Don Sutton. Braves trying to get it down to a 4.5-game San Francisco lead and trying to do something that no one has been able to accomplish all year, and that is sweep a series from the San Francisco Giants. And Don Dusty Baker admitting that yesterday his ball club is playing a little tight. He's shaken up the lineup for the Giants today. What does that say about the team?
Well, I think it says that maybe they're not reading the same papers we are and seeing who's 5.5 up coming into today. Pete, we all know that there's some concern about their pitching staff, but when you hear a guy admit that his offense is struggling and he's troubled by it, then I think that has to give a shot in the arm for the Braves. And I'll tell you one thing. A win today for the Braves gets Sawyer Brown and George Jones in this, too, because the race is definitely on.
I know the San Francisco Giants feel if they can win just this one game in the series, get it back up to a 6.5-game lead, they really will not have lost too much ground in the race. Maybe the most important game of the year for the Atlanta Braves, and maybe one of the best pitching matchups of the year this afternoon, as Billy Swift for the Giants goes against Maddux of the Braves. And we'll be back with the starting lineups and all the action from Candlestick right after this.
1993 Atlanta Braves baseball on TBS is brought to you by the one thing that's beyond question, Bud Dry, the less filling beer with a lot more taste. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. By Delta Airlines, the official airline of the Atlanta Braves. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. And by Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide.
It's a beautiful day here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Temperature in the middle 80s. Wind very calm. Temperature in the middle 80s everywhere, that is, except in the standings and maybe in both dugouts. We're getting set to play game 3 of the series. Braves have won the first 2. Let's run down the Napa Auto Parts starting lineups. For the Braves, it's going to be Otis Nixon leading it off. Jeff Blauser will follow. Then Ron Gant will hit it in the third spot. Cleanup, it's Fred McGriff, David Justice at 5, Terry Pendleton at 6. The bottom 3, Damon Berryhill, Mark Lemke, and Greg Maddux. Defensively, the Giants this afternoon will start an outfield that has Bonds in left. Martinez replaces Carrion in center, and McGee will be in right field. The infield has Matt Williams at third, Royce Clayton at short, Robbie Thompson at second. And quite testy Will Clark is over at first. Catching, it's Manwaring. And on the mound, Swift. Here are your umpires. Hallion will call the balls and strikes. Ripley at first, Crawford at second, Jim Quick over at third. Giants take the field. There's going to be another big crowd here at Candlestick Park. 50-something the first day, in the middle 40s yesterday. And they've been getting their money's worth from the Giants all year long. Bill Swift is the pitcher, and as Pete told you earlier, I don't think you could, any time of the year, but especially in a pennant race, ever beg for a better pitching matchup than you have. Number 2 and number 4 in the earned run average race, and a couple of guys who really know how to pitch. If you want to watch a clinic on pitching today, watch these two. You see his numbers. There's Greg Maddux, the ever-present Leo Mazzoni running escort with him. Swift is a right-hander who's basically a sinker-slider pitcher. He throws strikes, only 40 base on balls in about 180 innings. The league only hitting .220 against the right-hander. We're about set to get underway, and it's still a playoff-type atmosphere here. And there shows you how tough Swift has been. And we'll show you a little bit later some stuff on Maddux, but Swift last year against the Giants didn't give, against the Braves, was only .500, but he didn't give the Braves any runs at all. And I think that there is a measure of comfort being expressed by the Giants and him having him out there. And Pete, I think they needed that to kind of offset some of the feelings that I get that there are a lot of uptight people around here. And I think your statements in the open about juggling the lineup, those are things you really don't do unless you are really concerned. And I think if you feel they're good enough to get you to this point in the playoff or at this point in the pennant race, it's kind of hard to see. I mean, it's kind of funny to see a guy shaking them up.
It's almost been like these two teams are in the reverse positions that they are in the standings. The Braves are really the loose team right now, and this San Francisco Giants team, according to Dusty Baker, playing very, very tight baseball. They're not playing as loose and easy as they have been to establish the big lead, which is beginning to dwindle down to 5.5 games now. And we'll see how it goes this afternoon. Otis Nixon leading it off for Atlanta, hitting .248, a homer and 18 RBIs. Braves have scored first in each of the first 2 games in this series. And we are underway from Candlestick. Line drive, base hit, left field to start the game for Otis Nixon.
I'm glad to see that. I would like to see Otis get on and now either take off or play a little hit and run. If you were a tight ball club, not only is it hard to execute offensively to get your swings in, but there's a tendency to short arm the ball a little, throw it around a little. So put somebody in motion and see how they handle it defensively.
Now Jeff Blauser right at 300. He was one of the heroes in the first game of this series with 2 doubles and a home run. He wore an 0-for-4 collar yesterday, hitting right at 300 with 14 homers. Otis Nixon chased back. One thing that the Giants and Giants fans are going to be very interested in watching in Billy Swift over the remainder of the year. He is really in uncharted waters right now. He's never pitched this many innings in one season in his career. He's pitching in his 180th inning, and he has had a history of coming up with shoulder problems or elbow problems at some course during the season. Can he pitch through September with all the extra innings he's going to be asked to work this year, injury-free?
And they cannot afford to have either Swift or Burkett go down.
No, they can't. They've already lost Trevor Wilson. Looks like they've lost Bud Black now for the year as well. In a right field, base hit for Jeff Blauser. Otis Nixon around second. He'll head for third. And the Braves have put runners at first and third with nobody out here in the top half of the first inning.
Interesting. You know the Braves have good scouting reports, and perhaps they know what our Hal Galima knows. That is, you see him jump on the first pitch. Blauser looking for something over the plate. Got it. He likes to pitch ahead in the count. And this year, the National League, the opposition pounding him on the first pitch. Once he gets strike one, you can see he's a different pitcher, and they're different hitters.
Well, now an excellent chance for the Braves to score first for a 3rd straight day as Ron Gant steps in. First and third, nobody out. Gant at 267, hit his 31st home run here yesterday. He's driven in 85 runs. Not only did the Giants need a good outing from Billy Swift, but they need innings, period, from Billy Swift. They have had to go to their bullpen early each of the last 3 games. The final game of that Florida series and the first 2 games of this series with Atlanta. 1-0 pitch to Gant, taken low, and the count 2-0.
Swift is totally ignoring Jeff Blauser. Watch when he comes set. The only person he's interested in is Otis Nixon. He's thrown 2 pitches, and he is yet to take a look at first. So Jeff can get as big a lead as he wants. He's not even looking over there. Finally, he does throw over. But he really had no idea where Blauser was. That was just a token throw.
Giants keeping the infield double play depth. They'll sacrifice a run if they can turn 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Gant, and this looks like a double play grounder. Clayton to second one, Thompson to first, double play. The run does score. Otis Nixon comes in with the first run of the afternoon. No RBI since Gant grounded into the 6-4-3 double play. And 2 outs now, and the base is empty with the Braves leading it 1-0. Now Fred Mcgriff hitting .282, 28 homers and 69 RBIs, 7 for 20, a .350 lifetime average against Bill Swift, including 1 home run. High in the air, deep to left center field. Bonds going back, looking up. This one's deep into the seats. Long home run for Fred Mcgriff. And Atlanta now leads it 2-0. Number 29 of the year for Mcgriff. 1 more, and he'll have a 6th straight year of 30 home runs or more. 2-0 Atlanta. Again, Don jumping on the first pitch.
4 hitters in the inning. 3 of them jump on the first pitch. 2 get singles. 1 gets a homer. When he got the count past the first pitch on Gant, he got the double play ball. Out away from him and up. What we've seen from Mcgriff since he became a Brave, and what we saw against the Braves, good extension and the ability to shoot it out to left center field. That had plenty to spare.
So 2 early runs for Atlanta, and now David Justice, who hit his 30th home run here yesterday. 259 on the year. He's driven in 85. And he drives one deep to right field. This one's going to be out of here. 3-0 Atlanta. Home run number 31 for David Justice.
And again, on the first pitch. Braves are going up there looking for something in the strike zone on the first pitch. They're getting it, and they're not missing it.
And the Braves have Bill Swift on the ropes in the top half of the first inning. They've scored 3.
What Dick Paul might be coming out to say is don't be afraid to waste one on the first pitch.
The batter will be Terry Pendleton. And Don, to get back to your comment about some of the quotes as you look at this pitch again to David Justice, right down the middle.
Down the middle.
I agree. This San Francisco team, after all, still does have a 5.5 game lead over Atlanta. But looking at some of the quotes in the newspaper today, Dusty Baker talking about this team is playing tight. I'm going to shake up things, change the lineup around. A couple of questions were asked to Will Clark. He said, who's in first place? Kind of snapped off an answer like that.
Very testy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure, I think, being felt by San Francisco really for the first time all year. Well, the Braves have started out strong here with 3 in the top of the first. 2 men out. Here's Terry Pendleton, 271, 9 homers, 57 RBIs. And let's see if Bill Swift does waste a pitch here on the first pitch to Pendleton. Nope, he threw a strike inside corner, 0-1. Remember, the Giants' longest losing streak of the year has been 3 games in a row, and it hasn't happened since May. And that's by Robbie Thompson in the right center field for a base hit. The 4th, make it the 5th hit of the inning off Bill Swift. Nobody has swept the Giants all year. They haven't lost 3 in a row since way back in May. And the Braves are trying to win all 3 games in this series in the Giants' home ballpark.
The dilemma for those 2 people right there is obviously, I think, knee-jerk reaction would be to get somebody up. But they've got to leave Swift out there. You've got to hope he is one of those guys that can work through this. And I'm thinking as a Giant, work through it and get some people out, because they absolutely cannot go to the bullpen early.
Here's Damon Berryhill taking a ball low and outside. Damon at 234, 5 homers, 26 runs driven in. He's hit the ball well on this road trip. 8 hits in his last 21 trips. And the count goes to 2-0 on Berryhill. Outfield straight away. Pendleton running. Berryhill fouls one back. The bat goes one way. The ball goes the other. And the count on Damon goes to 2-1. You can look at the home run by Mcgriff and the home run by Justice, but I'll go back at the end of this game and look at the first inning and that first pitch leadoff single by Otis Nixon to get the juices flowing.
And it also got them a little bit more on edge, and it did something else too that you'd like to do on the road. You and I have talked about this a number of times. I think you do anything you can to score first because you take the crowd out of the equation. This crowd has gotten very silent.
And it looks like another 50,000 plus crowd here today. We arrived at the ballpark at about 10:30 this morning local time. I could not believe the line trying to grab whatever remaining tickets there were. They had to turn people away on Monday night, and I bet they did today too. Berryhill a one-hopper to first. Will Clark has it for the 3rd out of the inning, but a good start for Atlanta here at Candlestick. A 3-run top half of the first inning. Giants coming up.
Braves with 3 in the first half of the lead as the Giants come to bat. Here's the batting order. It is going to be Martinez leading it off. Then he'll be followed by Thompson. Barry Bonds moved into the 3rd spot. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Matt Williams at cleanup. Will Clark at 5. He'll be trailed by McGee. Final 3, Clayton, Manwaring, and Swift. Defensively, the Braves will have an outfield of Gant, Nixon, and Justice. Pendleton, Blauser, Lemke, and Mcgriff from 3rd to 1st. Berryhill behind the plate. And on the mound, making his 29th start of the year, Greg Maddux. If you go all the way back to July 2nd, between that time and now, Greg Maddux has only had 1 ball game in which he has given up more than 2 earned runs. Excellent control, strikeouts to walk nearly 4-1. But he has had his struggles here at Candlestick. I'll bet you in most of those ball games, though, he hasn't gone out there in the first inning with a 3-run lead like he has now.
And he's only 6-9 lifetime against the Giants, one of the few teams against whom he has an overall losing record in his career. Well, he's been staked to a 3-run lead here today, and Dave Martinez will lead it off for the Giants. 233, 5 homers, and 22 runs driven in. First pitch from Maddux right through there for a called strike, 0-1. Robbie Thompson will follow, and then Barry Bonds. Dusty Baker saying he shook up the lineup for a couple of reasons. Will Clark has been struggling since coming back with those bad knees. And he also wants to get Barry Bonds a guaranteed at-bat in the first inning. Shows you how concerned he was about scoring early, scoring first.
See, I see the logic in that. I just wonder why the logic hasn't been there all year.
Here's the 1-1. Little bouncing ball right back to Maddux. One gone, bottom of the first.
We always talk about doing whatever you can to get a run on the board first. Now you flip-flop that when you go out in the outfield. You make diving catches. You do whatever it takes to try to get an inning, like a 1-2-3 inning, and get back in the dugout while the offense is still fresh. And that really takes the sting out of any comeback that the opposition might want to muster.
Robbie Thompson having an outstanding year. He has homered in each of his last 5 games. Fouls the first one off Berryhill. The Giants' franchise record is 6 consecutive games with a home run. Willie Mays in 1955. Of course, the major league record of 8. Dale Long, Don Mattingly, and most recently Ken Griffey Jr.
Good high fastball hitter. Maddux has had success against him. Maddux knows how to change speeds. Has good control.
That one gets by Berryhill. 1 ball, 1 strike to Robbie Thompson. Hitting just 167 in his career against Greg Maddux. Maddux calling this the most important start he's ever had as a Brave. That's an understatement. 1-2 the count. And the 1-2 on the way, just missed outside. 2-2 to Robbie Thompson. The on-deck hitter, Barry Bonds.
He can learn some lessons in just the 4 pitches right there. He's got a 3-0 lead. He's thrown him 4 straight fastballs, but he's moved them in and out, and he's had movement on every one of them.
Here's the 2-2. That runs at full 3-2 now, and Robbie Thompson.
Now he's thinking, make him put it in play.
Here's the payoff pitch. He struck him out. Robbie Thompson down and strikes. 2 gone. Bottom half of the first inning. And here comes Barry Bonds.
He had to have fouled up Robbie Thompson, maybe the best control change of speeds pitcher in the National League. Threw him 6 straight fastballs and struck him out. Now, if you're Robbie Thompson, as the game progresses, you can't go up there looking for off-speed stuff regardless of the situation, because he's shown you only 1 pitch.
You see the numbers on Bonds. Leads the league in homers and RBIs. Another fastball. The count 0-1 on Barry Bonds. Well, as the old song says, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. He's not going to win the batting title, though. Takes the strike, and the count 0-2. Three-0 Braves. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. On a beautiful afternoon, 84 degrees at game time here at Candlestick. Missed inside, 1-2.
Great pitch. Bonds putting on that job that he does so well. Okay, sure, come on back in there, making you think that he wants it in there when he really doesn't. Leaves Maddux a lot of options.
Comes in there again. It's fouled back by Bonds. The count 1-2.
I really believe that's 10 straight fastballs to start the ball game. So much for scouting reports. if you're the hitters.
And 3 runs on your side in the first inning can change things, too.
That's the filter down effect of getting on the board first.
Here's the 1-2. Struck him out. A 1-2-3 inning for Greg Maddux with a couple of strikeouts. We go to inning number 2 at Candlestick. It's 3-0 Atlanta.
'93 Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Micotin. Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic.
You saw the last out, but what you may not have noticed is before that, watch Maddux shake off 1, 2 pitches. If you're Barry Bonds, you're thinking, ain't no man alive going to throw me 5 straight fastballs. He sold him on something else and threw the fastball right on by him.
3-0 Atlanta. Here's Mark Lemke swinging at the first pitch. A 1-hopper to Robbie Thompson. And 1 pitch, 1 out here in the second. Lemke coming into the game at 261. And now the pitcher, Greg Maddux, will hit.
Pete, the last out of the ballgame yesterday by Greg McMichael also came on a great sales job. He had set up and sold Robbie Thompson on a changeup. I mean, you got to be looking for his changeup in that situation. And he just said, sneak the fastball right on by him. So pitching is physically being conditioned to pitch. It's having the stuff. It's mentally being prepared. But also, good pitchers can also do a con job on a hitter every now and then, even before they turn the pitch loose.
You see Maddox's numbers with the bat. 9 hits and 69 trips, including a double. Outside corner for a strike. This is the kind of a game that the plate umpire, Tom Hallion, loves to work. 2 control pitchers. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know that neither one of these 2 are going to be all over the place like some pitchers are. And it's 1-2 now on Maddux.
And most of the time, both of them are down in the lower half of the strike zone, too.
Little tap left side, charging at Matt Williams. Can't make the barehanded pickup. And Greg Maddux has the Braves' 6th hit off of Bill Swift.
Matt Williams makes this play most of the time, does it really well. He was way back with 2 strikes. It's a do or die. And when the ball went down and skidded right there, he lost every chance he had of getting it. It's going to be scored a base hit.
That puts a runner at first with 1 out, and back we go to the top of the order. Notice Nixon, who got this game started by knocking the first pitch he saw into left field for a base hit. He later scored the first Atlanta run. Otis now 16 hits in his last 39 trips, playing every day in the absence of Deion Sanders on the disabled list with that viral infection. Ball 1 low to Otis. Braves come home after this game. They have an off day tomorrow. The Cubs in town over the weekend. Then the Giants come. The Giants will precede their visit to Atlanta with a 3-game series in Florida. 2-0 the count of Nixon. Tried to go the other way, hits it foul up into the seats. And the count 2-1.
That's the same pitch he tried to make to start the ballgame with Nixon. Swift might have been a little tight, too, because his strength is movement and location. His ball now this inning moving twice as much as it was in the first inning. That's usually a sign of either overthrowing or being a little tight.
One man out. Maddux the runner at first. We're in the top half of the second inning. Braves have opened up a 3-0 lead. A couple of first inning homers by Fred McGriff and David Justice. 4th time this year the Braves have had back-to-back home runs hit. Here's the 2-1. Little tap toward short. The second one. Thompson on the first. Not in time to get Nixon there. They get Maddux for out number 2. Nixon becomes the runner at first, and that'll bring up Jeff Blauser.
Everybody hustles. Everybody's playing aggressive. Watch Maddux come in and try to break up the double play. He gave A little bit of a nudge to Robbie Thompson. Definitely not a one-dimensional player.
Now Jeff Blauser. Blauser single to right, his first time up. For his 4th hit in this series. Swift goes to first. These Braves right now can draw out some incredible numbers at you. Since the All-Star break, they are 28-10. On the road, they have won an incredible 19 of their last 21 road games. And to right field, Blauser's 2 for 2. Otis Nixon rounding second. He'll head for third again. Runners will be first and third. Going back to first after cutting the ball off is Clayton, but Blauser got back. And that's 7 hits in the first 2 innings off Bill Swift. And that'll bring up Ron Gant, who hit into a 6-4-3 double play in the first. The Braves scoring their first run of the day on that twin killing.
You mentioned that incredible 1-loss record on the road. Do you have any opinion on why that happened? See, I have tried to think that through as a player and as now an observer, and logically I can't come up with a reason.
I've got a couple of ideas. One, I think the Braves' road success the last 2 years has carried over. They know they can win on the road. Number 2, I think the presence of so many Braves fans everywhere Atlanta goes has something to do with it. Another run is in. Nixon scoring on the base hit by Ron Gant. That makes it 4-0 Atlanta. 86 RBIs now for Gant. And the beat goes on against Bill Swift.
First pitch swinging again. Gant looking for something in the strike zone. Remember, we talked yesterday about how many times we have seen Ron Gant just on this road trip. A home run to right field yesterday, some base hits up the middle. He's hitting it where he's pitched, and he's getting his batting average up because of it.
Braves now with 4 runs, 8 hits in the game already. We're only in the top of the second, and here's Fred McGriff with his 29th homer of the year into the seats in left center. But I don't feel the Braves feel like there really is a road. There's home, and then there's the home away from home, and all the other fans from around the country come out. They truly have become if you want to use that old cliche and that old quote, America's team, why not? You see the fans that we see all over the country, you tend to believe it. 0-1 on McGriff. Even here in San Francisco, I didn't expect to see as many in San Francisco as we see in other parts of the country. And that's not the only broom we've seen a Braves fan carrying here at Candlestick today. There are quite a few of them down there. 1-1 the count of McGriff.
You should have seen one of the waiters in the restaurant in the hotel today came in. I was sitting across the room from David Justice, and he came by and he said, I picked you guys to win yesterday, and he said, I brought my broom with me today. David, man, get over to the other side of the room. Go talk to Sutton.
2-1 the count on Fred McGriff.
Because players don't want, most are superstitious to a certain extent, and just like we have talked about comments made by the Giants that it may have kind of raised the hackles of the Braves, you don't want to ever assume anything, and you don't want to upset a team when you're beating up on them.
Right down the middle for a called strike, 2-2.
So being the team player that I am, I let him come over and talk to me so David could eat and get out of the hotel.
Oh, I'm sure there was a trade out involved somehow, knowing you.
Nah, Olson wasn't in the room.
That cost both the waiter and David. Here's the 2-2. It fouled to the right. It remains 2-2 on Fred McGriff. But if you talk with, and you were a Dodger for many years, you talked with Jay Howell, who pitched for the L.A. Dodgers. You talked with Pat Corrales, who was a coach for the New York Yankees. Those are a couple of teams that have big national followings. But both will tell you nothing like the number of people they see on the road whenever the Braves are in town. Not even close. Here's the 2-2. Up the middle toward short. Clayton over to Robbie Thompson in time for the force on Ron Gant and the third out of the inning. But the Braves pick up one more on a run-scoring hit by Gant. We go to the bottom of the second. 4-0 Braves. Here is Matt Williams. 298, 27 homers, 84 runs driven in. And the first pitch from Maddux is fouled back. Williams has not had much luck with Greg Maddux.
Pete, that fourth run significant in that it takes a grand slam to tie you, but if you trace back Greg Maddux last 32 times, there you are. He's tough anyway, but you give him that one extra run, it makes him doubly tough. I remember the last time we showed that graphic too.
Down the right side, foul. The count 0-2 now on Matt Williams. Williams, Clark, and McGee due up here in the bottom half of the second. The Giants will be in Atlanta next week. Unfortunately, no tickets left for that series. Here's the 0-2. Missing inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Fly ball right field. Justice coming on. He's there. 1 down. Williams retired, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Will Clark, who, as Don mentioned, has been a little testy the last couple of days in the clubhouse when approached by Braves reporters asking his reaction to losing first on Monday night, then on Tuesday afternoon. He snapped off. Take a look at the standings, see who's still in first. But it was kind of a snappish, I don't want to be bothered with you type of answer. Playing with a bad right knee. Fouled the ball off that knee 3 different times this year. First pitch swinging, 1 hop to short. Blauser on the first, 2 down. 5 in a row set down by Maddux. And that'll bring up Willie McGee.
Maddux is one of the best I've ever seen at letting the day, the circumstances, the way he warmed up, and the equipment dictate how he's going to pitch. You start each game with a scouting report and a preconceived idea about the hitters, but he will come out of the bullpen with what he has. Now all of a sudden he goes out there with a 3-0 lead, and he may change his whole idea between the dugout and to the mound. He works with what he has for the day.
Called strike 1 to McGee. McGee batting .321. He's driven in 40 runs. Outside corner, 0-2. A ball and 2 strikes now on McGee. Down and in, 2-2. Just does stay alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Four nothing Atlanta. We're in the bottom half of inning 2. Final game of this series. That'll be out of play. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You'll see Maddux and Berryhill do this a lot. Maddux has just thrown the changeup that he fouled off. McGee was out in front of it. Then he came back with a fastball that he was tardy on. Now they want to make sure that they're in agreement as to what was set up by that. Here's a couple of options. Since he was tardy on the fastball, that's a safe pitch to throw back inside. But if he can get that changeup in a good spot, then he's got a chance of getting a strikeout on it.
Here's the 2-2 again to McGee outside. Full count now, 3-2 on Willie McGee. Royce Clayton waiting in the on-deck circle. Some final scores in baseball of games played earlier. Toronto beat Cleveland today 10-7. It was Detroit over Seattle 7-4. Phillies beat Colorado 8-5. Cincinnati over the Mets 4-1. On the ground to first. Mcgriff has it. He'll take it himself. Another 1-2-3 inning for Greg Maddux. 6 in a row have been set down by the Braves right-hander, and we go to the third. It is 4-0 Atlanta.
This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
It's 4-0 Braves as we go to the top of the third. David Justice with his 31st homer of the year in the first inning. Leads off against Bill Swift. Taking a ball inside. He'd been pressing a little bit, trying to get that 30th home run. He got that one yesterday. Here's the 1-0 line drive, caught by Robbie Thompson. Good defensive play by the Giants second baseman for out number 1.
A day when the runs are scoring and even the outs are encouraging.
Now Terry Pendleton, he had a base hit his first time up. He now has 10 hits in his last 17 at bats, and very quietly he has climbed back up to 273 for the year. There's a call, strike 0-1. One ball, one strike on Pendleton. Swift falling behind. Oh, it's called a strike. A ball and 2 strikes. Looked a little high.
I don't know about you, Pete, but it's always amazed me and surprised me to read the number of times that Bill Swift has been on the disabled list. First of all, because he is such a good condition, a well-conditioned athlete. But watch his motion. It's so effortless. He doesn't over-exaggerate or overthrow ever.
Right off the handle toward short. Royce Clayton fields and throws and gets him 2 down. And that'll bring up Damon Berryhill, who grounded out to first his first time. Bill Swift, one of 3 pitchers who came over in the Kevin Mitchell deal. He and Mike Jackson and Dave Burba have all helped this Giant staff. Bill Swift, one of 15 children. Low and inside, ball 1.
Some pretty good survival training, isn't it? So being down 4-0 here.
It's 2-0 now on Berryhill. 4 runs, 8 hits for Atlanta, all zeros so far for the Giants. Top of the third. In the air to right center field. Willie McGee waves off Martinez, makes the catch. A 1-2-3 third inning for Bill Swift. We go to the bottom half, still 4-0 Braves.
Braves on top 4-0, bottom of the third inning. A chance for us to look at the Micaden best second halves in Atlanta history. Right now, Braves are 28-10. If they continue that pace, that is a great second half. But look at what 91 was. You remember that? Projections have a way of changing, but the way they're playing right now, it wouldn't surprise anybody if they did that.
Lower third of the order due up for the Giants here. Greg Maddux has retired 6 in a row. Royce Clayton will start things, hitting .280. He's driven in 60 runs. He's hit 4 homers. Takes a strike, 0-1. One ball, 1 strike, and Clayton, Kurt Manwaring will follow. And then the pitcher, Bill Swift, who is a very good hitting pitcher. Here's the 1-1 upstairs. 2-1. The 2-1 pitch on the way, low and outside. 3-1 now. The count on Royce Clayton. Full count, 3-2 to Clayton. And now the payoff pitch. He walked him. First base runner of the afternoon for the Giants as Clayton walks to lead off the bottom of the third. And that'll bring up Kurt Manwaring. Manwaring just 2 for his last 29, but still hitting .285 for the year. Nobody out. Clayton the runner at first.
Manwaring, a candidate for the double play. He's more of a line drive ground ball hitter. Maddux gives up a lot of ground balls, more than fly balls.
And he takes the ball low. 1-0. Runner going. The 1-0 pitch fouled off at the plate. 1-1. Dusty Baker sending the runner that time. Shows you the Giants don't intend to sit back and wait for a 3-run homer to get him back in the game.
No, Manwaring, pretty good contact hitter, and he also, you can do that with a guy out there who throws a lot of strikes. You would not dare do it with a guy who throws the ball all over the parking lot, but pretty certain he's going to get something that Manwaring could put the bat on.
1-1 the count on the Giants catcher. That's fouled off, and Maddux ahead in the count now. 1-2 strikes. Giants have won 5 of the 9 meetings with the Braves so far this year. And 3 more left in Atlanta next week. Runner goes again. 1-2 pitch fouled away. Clayton will return. Still a 1-2 strikes on Manwaring. This series has been covered something like you would see in a National League Championship series. Writers and photographers from all over the country.
Yeah, you don't see too many times during a regular season where you have to set up a whole ton of temporary facilities to accommodate everybody.
Another 1-2 pitch due to Manwaring. And this one hit on the ground to third. Pendleton goes to second. 1. Lemke on the first 2. Double play. So they sent the runner a couple of times, and both times the pitch was fouled off. This time the runner stayed put. And it's a 5-4-3 twin killing.
You got the right man hitting, the right man pitching. Ground ball at the right spot. 2 outs with 1 pitch. Pendleton gets it to Lemke in plenty of time for Mark to tag the bag, get the throw off, and get out of the way of Clayton.
2 gone, bases empty for a good hitting pitcher. Bill Swift hitting .271 for the year. He had 16 hits and 59 at bats. Takes the first one low and inside. 1. On the ground slowly toward short. Blauser on the Mcgriff, and that'll do it for the Giants in the third. The walk does not hurt. Maddux has faced the minimum. We go to the fourth inning. Braves up by 4. A look at the scoreboard before we go to the fourth inning. Phillies won today 8-5 over Colorado. Kurt Schilling got the win. Cincinnati beat the New York Mets. Mets made 4 errors. Bobby Bonilla made 3. San Diego 1-0 over the Cardinals in the fourth inning. Everything else in the National League tonight. Over in the American League, Toronto a winner 10-7 over Cleveland. Detroit beat Seattle. And all the rest of the games in the American League are under the lights. Fourth inning, Braves leading at 4-0. And here's Don Sutton.
All right, Pete. Thank you very much. Mark Lemke's going to lead it off. Lemke grounded to second his first time up. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Braves already. First pitch swinging, that'll get out of play, and it's 0-1. Maddux with only 1 base on ball. He was wiped out on a double play. Just exactly what the Braves wanted to do. Get on the board early. A 3 spot in the first inning was probably a little more than they had bargained for. But the 2 home runs certainly had to jolt Bill Swift and the Giants. 1-1 to Lemke.
If you've seen Mark Lemke flexing his right shoulder a lot, there he goes again lately. He's been banged up a little. A couple of home plate collisions and a couple of spills out at second base turning double plays. He's playing a little bit hurt right now.
Didn't mean to, and it's 1-2. Lemke, Maddux, and Nixon. First 3 due up here in the fourth inning. It's amazing how, as a series progresses, your expectations change if you're a ball club. Giants obviously looking to sweep this when the series started. That's out of play, still 1-2 to Lemke. The Braves came in here realistically saying, we'd like to win 2 out of 3. Now that's all changed today.
Once you get those first 2 under the collar.
And the Giants saying,
well,
them all. That's right. And the Giants are thinking, well, it'd be success for us if we can salvage 1. So Lemke's gone, and Pete, you could really tell right there he is not comfortable with the swing.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a hitch to his swing right now, and the right shoulder is probably the big reason. But he's almost just laying the bat out and turning his body. There's not a whole lot of flex in that shoulder.
That's the first strikeout for Bill Swift. 1 gone, and here's Greg Maddux. Maddux an infield single his first time up. Watches this one high, and it's 1-0. Good sinker from Swift. Swift stuff 100% better in the second, third, and now in the fourth inning than it was in the first, even though the Braves came up with a run in the second inning. A lot of movement on all of Bill Swift's pitches. 2-1 to Maddux. A matchup number 2 and number 4 in the league in earned run average. Maddux 4 with a 264. Swift trails only, I think, Tom Candiotti. Rijo, Candiotti, Maddux, and Swift, the top 4 in the league. Full count. There goes Maddux. 2 strikeouts in a row for Swift. And we'll move to the top of the order.
And you're right. This is more like the Bill Swift that has pitched for the Giants all year and compiled a 17-5 record. Did not look at all like that in the first inning.
That'll bring up Otis Nixon. He got things started for the Braves. He's going to take an extra few seconds to allow Maddux to get back to the dugout. But Nixon, Blauser, Mcgriff, and Justice, and Pendleton, all first pitch swinging in the first inning. 3 singles and 2 home runs. The only guy in the group, the first 6 hitters that didn't swing in the first pitch, was Ron Gant, and he grounded into a double play. Otis has scored 2 of the 4 runs. 1-0. Another base hit for Nixon. The 9th of the game already for the Braves. That makes Otis 17 out of his last 41. And it'll bring up Jeff Blauser. Blauser also with 2 hits today. Jeff's average creeping back up into the 300s. It's up to 303 now. Pitch out, but Nixon not going anywhere. Another throw to first, and again Nixon back easily. Blauser looks like he may have changed bats, Pete. Here in the redwood country, he's swinging some redwood.
Yeah, that's that new varnish we're seeing in a lot of bats this year.
Nixon drawing a lot of attention from Bill Swift. Right at Matt Williams, knocks it down, goes to Clark. That'll wrap up the 4th inning for the Braves. Nixon gets the single. He is left stranded. We played 3.5. It's the Braves on top, 4-0. Braves struck early. They lead at 4-0. There's the story. Mcgriff and Justice homers coming in the 1st inning, and a whole ton of those first pitch hits in the 1st inning. It's been typical Maddux. Sinker down, changing speeds. He's kept everything on the ground. Only 1 ball hit out of the infield. He has faced the minimum as we go to the 4th inning. Martinez will lead it off. He tapped back to the pitcher to open the ball game. Martinez, Thompson, and Bonds. Martinez a part of that veteran bench that Dusty Baker and general manager Bob Quinn wanted here. First one down low, and it's 1-0. Todd Benzinger, another one. Mike Benjamin.
Mark Carrion.
Steve Scarsoni, all veterans. To left field, Gann is there. That may be the hardest ball hit all day, but it's an out. 1 gone for Robbie Thompson. Thompson created quite a stir here in San Francisco. I don't think he still considers him, or I still don't think he considers himself a home run hitter. There's a strike 0-1. When you listen to him talk, he just kind of downplays it. Statements like, well, Griffey's going to do that. He's supposed to, but not me. I'm as surprised as you are. Good breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Monday night against the Braves, Thompson's 100th career homer. A home run in each of the last 5 ball games. Perfect pitch. Maddux has gotten him twice. That's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Maddux, and Thompson not too happy with the call.
Went right after him with the count 0-2. Berryhill sets up outside. There's that tailing fastball coming back in over the outside corner of the plate.
And one of the first statements we remember hearing out of Maddux about his philosophy of pitching in spring training is that with 2 strikes, I like to go right after him. Talking about wasting pitches or trying to get an out on the 0-2 pitch. Bonds takes a strike, and it's 0-1. And he's not too happy. Another indication that things are a little tense.
Here's a look at the pitch. Borderline. Bonds may have had a beef there.
In on the fist, and it's 0-2.
That's one of those calls that you look at where Tom Hallion sets up. He sets up over the right shoulder of Berryhill, has a real good look at the inside corner, and a kind of fuzzy look at the outside corner. Some of those borderline calls just off the plate, pitchers are going to get them.
And if you're a pitcher with a reputation like Maddux of being able to throw strikes, if you hit the mitt, you're going to get the call.
See where he is?
Good pitch there. 1-2. That might cause some frustration, too. Got him. What a great inning for Greg Maddux. He sets down Martinez, Thompson, and Bonds. 1, 2, 3. 4 in the books in San Francisco. Braves lead it 4-0.
Another look at strike 3 to Barry Bonds to end the bottom half of the 4th inning. We've mentioned how Bonds doesn't really like pitches in there. And again, that ball tailed in over the inside corner. Bonds will give you that little backing out of the way act, but doesn't get the call this time.
4-0, top of the 5th. It's going to be Gant, McGriff, and Justice. Pete and Don with you for 3 more outs. Skip and Joe will take you the rest of the way. There's ball 1 outside to Gant. And 20 or 30,000 amateur umpires wanting to give Tom Hallion a little help on that call. Gant gives him some help there. 1-1. Pete and I want to join Lee Jones, producer engineer and a friend of ours of the Giants radio, and wishing a speedy recovery to his mom Naomi down in Morristown, Tennessee. Mrs. Jones, get well. A strike to Gant. He's not happy. It's 1-2. I think the only 2 people Tom Hallion is making happy, Greg Maddux and Bill Swift. Gant's gone. Strikeout number 3 for Swift, all of them coming in the last 2 innings.
Ron chased a horrible pitch here. We've seen him fooled before, but not as badly as that. He's not even going to throw bats or helmets or anything on that one. He knows that he should never have pulled the trigger on that pitch.
That'll bring up Fred McGriff. He's 1 out of 2. A home run, his 29th. That RBI, his 70th. Ball 1 misses inside. Not as many Braves first pitch swinging this second time through. Not as many first pitches over the plate for them to swing at from Billy Swift. That's hammered, but it's going to hook foul. McGriff out in front of a high sinker.
That's what makes McGriff such a great power hitter. You make a mistake inside, he can pull the ball with power. You make a mistake in the outer portion of the plate, he can hit the ball in the left center, left field with power.
And you know, in watching him hit, I don't believe he tries to do that. I believe he just unloads on the ball and lets the swing take care of itself. Because you see some hitters who go up there and you can tell right away, like we saw from Ron Gant. He was definitely trying to pull a pitch. But McGriff just waits till he sees where the ball is and just lets his swing react to it. Like that one. Deep to right center field. It ain't going to hold that one. He's got 2. Braves got a 5-0 lead.
6th consecutive year that Fred McGriff has hit 30 home runs or more. 6 straight years.
Congratulations, John Surhoff. What another great deal. 5 runs for the Braves on 10 hits, 3 of them solo homers.
We saw him go deep to left center field. This time he gets a pitch that was really down and away in the strike zone. Went down and got it, get the full extension on that swing. And it's number 30. He's made home run trot number 36 consecutive years. What remarkable consistency.
That'll bring up David Justice. He takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Justice 1 out of 2. He homered in the first inning. Followed Mcgriff's home run. Last time the Braves had back-to-back homers was July 26th. They've done it. No, it wasn't. It was in the first inning. Back-to-back solo shots. Justice and Mcgriff have done it again, and it's 6-0. I guess if you got information, you better get it out in a hurry in this game. For David, number 32, RBI number 87.
Right now, this Atlanta Braves group playing as confident and as loose as you can be. In every phase of the game, offensively, defensively, pitching, you name it. Back-to-back homers by Mcgriff and Justice for the second time today. Number 32 of the year for Justice, his third in the last 2 games.
Remember, we were talking the other day about when he stuck on 29 for a while. He admitted, I'm trying to hit homers and I'm pressing. We also said, and I don't think you had to be Gene Dixon to feel safe in this prediction, once 30 comes, we're going to see a lot more and a lot more hitting out of David Justice.
Jeff Brantley up in the Giants bullpen. We're only in the 5th inning. Billy Swift getting hammered here. He's given up 6 runs, 11 hits. Now that is amazing. 3 home runs all year here at the Stick until today. He's thrown 4 gopher balls.
And here comes Terry Pendleton. Pendleton got a single in the first pitch in the first inning. He grounded to short his second time up. 11 hits, 4 of them solo homers by those 2 gentlemen. Have a day, guys. Ball 1 misses low to Pendleton. There's ball 2. Well, if you're a Giant fan and you want to look at something positive, at least Rod Beck's getting a rest. He hasn't been out there since last Saturday. There's ball 3 outside to Pendleton. 6 runs, 11 hits for the Braves, 4 of them solo homers, 2 RBIs each for Mcgriff and Justice. Ball 4, 4 in a row wide of the strike zone. That's the first base on ball issued today by Billy Swift, and that is going to be the end of the day for the Giant ace. He came into this ball game 17-5. He had allowed 14 home runs, only 3 here at Candlestick. 41 walks, 122 strikeouts. The league was hitting only .220 against him, but that will all go up. Giants are going to make a pitching change. We'll fill you in on it when we come back. Not a good day for the Giants faithful. The Braves have put 6 on the board. We're only in the top of the 5th inning. They'll have to go to their bullpen. It's been used a lot, and it's going to be Jeff Brantley coming on. A very loose, relaxed Braves bench. If you come in, take the first 2 and put a 6th spot on the board before you're halfway through, you can feel loose and relaxed. Brantley, game number 40. Make that 41. 12 of them as a starter. 95 innings. The league hitting .261 against him. You see the rest of his numbers right there. And he, too, has been touched up by the long ball frequently this year. A home run every 6 innings. That's high for a reliever.
They had a story in one of the columns in the San Francisco paper this morning about a fan who was sitting next to the columnist on Monday when Brantley pitched. He has a reputation for always getting at least one base runner on before he starts getting people out, and he missed on the first 2. Was behind in the count 2-0. The next one was borderline. It was called ball 3, and the fan stood up and said, "Come on, ump, that's about as close as he can get."
Berryhill hitless in 2 trips. Pendleton at first. He drew the walk. There's a strike. It's 0-1. Now Outside, 1-1.
Have you ever heard 50,000 people making so little noise as they are right now?
Not in their own ballpark.
You talk about taking a crowd out of a game. This sounds like Montreal.
Very, very quiet, calm Candlestick Park. Giants 61-14 when they score first. 22-29 when the opposition gets on the board first. 1-2 to Berryhill. Brantley hasn't quickened the pace of the game any. Did he go around? They'll ask for help. No, he didn't. Count even at 2-2, and you know that's not going to meet with a whole lot of approval. Nothing's going right today.
The Giants can't score a run. They haven't got a hit. Braves have hit 4 homers. Lead at 6-0. And borderline calls aren't even going San Francisco's way today.
2-2 to Berryhill. And another throw over. I'd like to throw a bouquet toward Bobby Cox and Leo Mazzoni for the way this pitching rotation was set up for this series, too. I like the idea. Avery the youngest, but I like the idea of having him start an important series. He seems to get better the bigger and the more spotlight is focused on the ball game.
And the way this rotation is structured right now, when the Giants come to Atlanta and open up that series next Tuesday, it'll be Greg Maddux pitching the first game.
Not a bad choice there either. Mr. Excitement. Does he ever get very high or very low?
No.
It doesn't matter where you are.
And neither does his team. That's why this team is able to do the things that they're able to do late in the year.
That'll take care of Berryhill. Good pitch from Brantley. Second out of the inning, and it'll bring up Mark Lemke.
If you have good players and your team is not playing that well, and you continually tell the media, as Bobby does, we're going to be okay, that says 2 things. It says he believes that, and it's telling his players that he believes in them. And eventually the players believe that, and look what's happened the second half the last 3 years. So many of Bobby's critics want him to be a scream and holler kind of guy. It doesn't always take a guy like that to win.
First one to Lemke outside, and it's 1-0. There are 2 kinds of managers who do that. There are those who are trying to pull a scam on everybody, and then there is the guy who genuinely believes it and can convey it. And that's what that is. Bobby, there's a game going on. There's a ball to Lemke, 2-0. And you and I have talked about this over and over. Eventually, a ball club will always reflect
the personality of the manager.
Eventually. And it will reflect that personality most in trying times. And that's just what you were saying about the second half. That'll get out of play. And it's 2-1 to Lemke. You can take that up a step higher, up to John Sherholtz, too. John doesn't have a high pucker factor. He's very calm and cool. And put those 2 together. Put those 2 together and let Leo do the rocking. That's a perfect combination. 2-1 to Lemke. Another one almost the same spot. Another souvenir. Count even at 2-2. Mark has done one heck of a job in a most difficult hitting spot in the batting order, 8. He's got 7 homers. He's got 42 RBIs. He's third on the Braves in walks, too. He has 55. All in all, one heck of a year for the Braves second baseman. Still Pendleton at first, still 2 outs. Lemke's gone again, and you can tell he's hurting. Mark Lemke will look forward to the day off tomorrow. For the Braves in the inning, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 solo homers, 1 left. We're halfway home. It's all good news for the Braves. 6-0.
Bottom half of the 5th inning. Joe Simpson, Skip Carey with you now. And the news, very, very good for Braves fans. 6-0, 4 home runs. Billy Swift has been knocked out. To this point, you got to say it's not supposed to be this easy. But a long way to go, and these Giants can score some runs. Matt Williams leads off the bottom of the 5th. Greg Maddux has faced the minimum, though he has issued a walk. Williams flied to right his first time. Pop foul back. It's 0-1.
And the Braves offense has been so wonderful at getting runs early. 3 runs in the 2nd inning in game 1. A home run yesterday from Ron Gant. And 3 today in the 1st inning, thanks to some long balls.
Williams stands back in there. You could have asked anybody on that Atlanta bench today, and they would have never said 6-0 in the 5th. They had that much admiration for Bill Swift. But today was not his day. 1-1 the count.
And the middle of the Braves lineup doing the job. 3, 4, and 5 hitters have 9 RBIs. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Giants, 1 RBI.
In this series, and the pitch just missed inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. No tickets left for the Cubs and Giants, but there are tickets left for the Padres on the upcoming homestand. You saw the on-deck hitter, Will Clark. High pop. Let's see if it's playable. Mcgriff battered the sun and wind. Here comes Justice. Nobody gets it. And we're fortunate there was no collision. 2-2 the count. No play there. No error will be charged.
That's a play if you're the first baseman and you know you're going to have a hard time making a catch over the shoulder like that. You've got to just pull up. You got to pull up and let the right fielder know that he's the only guy that's got a chance, and go ahead and go for it.
So Williams gets a swing on the house. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Grounded, fouled on the 3rd base line. Our information is that some tickets do remain for the Padres. Now we get a conflicting report that those games may in fact have all tickets sold. Just call the Braves office and they'll let you know. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, fouled away again. The count stays the same. The Giants go to Florida after this game. They'll go tomorrow. Play Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Then to Atlanta. Then they go on to St. Louis. So while the Braves are home, the Giants are on a long road trip.
Dusty has changed his position in the dugout, trying to change his luck.
High chop to 3rd should be easy. It is. 1 down as Mcgriff shifts nicely over at first base. 1 away. Will Clark rounded short his first time and stands in here.
While the offense has been outstanding and the starting pitching has been awfully good, bordering on just almost unbeatable, let's not forget about the defense too, about how well the infield especially has played, turning some double plays behind Tom Glavine yesterday to get him out of some jams.
Clark waits and takes low. Mcgriff becomes the 11th player to hit 30-plus home runs in 6 consecutive seasons. We'll give you the other ones here. Ground ball to short. Blauser has it and throws. High throw. Did he get down in time? No, he's sick. A Blauser boot and a base runner is the result, and Willie McGee the batter.
I must have jinxed the defense. A little bit under that throw. Jeff dropped his elbow down a little bit. Fred did a good job to haul it in. Came down on the bag, but Clark crosses as he's in the air.
First error in 16 games, and a good call over there at first base.
Yeah, it was.
Willie McGee is the batter. The others to hit 30-plus homers in 6 or more seasons consecutively: Jimmy Fox, Lou Gehrig, Eddie Matthews, Mike Schmidt, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Henry Aaron, Ralph Kiner, Harmon Killebrew, Willie Mays, and Willie McCovey. So Mr. McGriff has joined some pretty elite company. That's a rundown of Hall of Famers there. 0-1 the count.
The only guy that may be missing out of the top 10 in home runs all time would maybe be Frank Robinson, who's not in there.
Hit back to the mound. Look what I found. Whoa, but he throws it into center field. Let's see if Blauser's okay. Let's see if Clark's okay. Time is called. Clark is in agony. He turned his ankle. I don't know about Blauser. Clark had a bad knee anyway going in. He's in agony. Blauser is apparently all right. Oh, that was a double play in the making, but it didn't work out. You see, Jeff's all right, but Clark is in a lot of pain.
Skip, I didn't think it was a double play personally. I thought Maddux, after he turned and saw that Blauser was late getting to the bag, that he ought to go to first for the out. Mainly because he didn't even know he had the ball. But you see him having to wait there, and in the process it disrupted his timing. Now the slide, and with that real painful right knee, Clark slides into Jeff. I think Blauser's lucky that he didn't get spiked and hurt badly here. He took one right in the what looked like the midsection, but Clark's the guy that comes up limping. That right knee's the one that he hurt.
That's the one that's, well, let's see. I think it was his left knee that was bothering him before, but it looked like Clark sort of switched his leg over to avoid spiking Blauser. And he's walked it off, and I think he may be able to stay in, but boy, he's still gimpy. That's the 6th error of the year for Maddux, who has been a 3-time Gold Glove winner. So he's in a little trouble here with first and second, one out, and both runners have reached unerred.
Dusty Baker told me before the ball game that Clark has fouled a ball off his right knee 3 different times this year, and that's the one that he really sends in there hard to Jeff and hits him in the hip. He's going to stay in the ball game, but he's still in a lot of pain. Very tough competitor, but he's hurting.
Blauser and Clark with a word to each other. No animosity there. 2 guys playing hard. Well, let's see if Greg can now pitch out of this mess. Royce Clayton, the batter, 2 on, 1 out. You never have enough runs against these guys. They can generate them in a hurry. Little looper, short hop. Lemke boots it. Throws to first. Out. Second and third, 2 down.
I wish I hadn't mentioned the defense at all. Tough hop for Mark, but if he charges that ball just a little bit, Skip, he freezes the runners. He got an in-between hop, and only a great play by Fred McGriff saved him. You see, they froze a little bit anyway. But Will very tenderly jogging into third base. He's still hurting a lot.
Kurt Manwaring is the batter. First base is open. The pitcher is due next. That's Brantley, but you know they would pinch hit. So the Braves will try to go ahead and get the catcher. In his career, 3 out of 7 against Maddux. Just missed the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. 6-0 Atlanta. The Giants mount their first threat of the day, and it's as a result of 2 boots. Fouled it away, and he battles back to even the count at 1-1.
Manwaring's only been able to hit the ball out of the infield 1 time in this series. He flied to right yesterday 1 time. He has a couple of hits, but they were both infield hits.
And he was 0 for 23 coming into the series. But that doesn't make much difference now. The 1-1 pitch. Fly! line, and he caught it. Boy, oh boy. He must feel like he's at Okinawa out there. A wicked line drive up the middle. But Maddux, with those quick reactions, speared it. He's had a couple of those in the inning. Well, just a little excitement here. No hits, no runs. 2 errors, 2 left. Still no hits in the game for the Giants after 5, 6-0.
Will Clark wanted to stay in the ball game and went out to assume his position at first base to start the 6th inning, but right on his heels you can see Dusty Baker, who said, man, it ain't worth it. I know you're hurting. Let's go get some ice on that knee, and I'll bring in Benzinger to play some first base. So Clark is done for the day, but you got to respect the fact that that guy at least gave it a shot. In fact, stayed on the bases trying to get a run home.
And you're right, they'll ice him down now. There's a long way to go in this season. And down 6-0, it would really have been foolish of him to keep him in there. Here's Maddux to lead off the 6th. 0-1 the count. 6-0 Atlanta is our score. Maddux 1 out of 2. Right in there. 0-2 the count. Pop. Let's see if it's playable. Manwaring over by the dugout has room. Puts it down, 1 away. Sit down and relax, Greg. Otis Nixon is the batter.
We were talking last night about, in our opening comments, Skip, about how important Blauser and Nixon have been of late getting on base. Well, today's no different. Otis, I think, set the whole pace for this ball game for the Atlanta offense, going after the first pitch today and lining a base hit.
Did the same thing in the first game of the series and takes a strike here. 0-1 the count. How about those Padres last night? A 13-run first. St. Louis has gone bye-bye. And now they're talking about unloading, calling themselves a small market team, I understand, and unloading some big names like Bob Tewksbury.
You know what was funny to me about those owners' meetings, or the accounts that we got through the papers, were that when they split off into those groups and some of the large market teams went into their separate meetings, it included owners from representing the Colorado Rockies and the Florida Marlins. They thought they'd really done a job getting $95 million from those 2 expansion teams, and lo and behold, they're just knocking them dead in both spots.
They sure are. Business is booming. The 2-2 got him on the outside corner. Nixon called out on strikes. That's Brantley's 3rd strikeout. He's gotten 4 men out, 3 of them on strikes. Jeff Blauser has 2 hits in the game, as did Nixon, as does Nixon. And Jeff stands in there. Breaking ball right in there, 0-1. He's got good stuff today, and he's got good control of it.
Dusty Baker did not want to use Brantley yesterday. He had used him a couple of days in a row, said he thought he needed a day off, and it looks like that day off helped him. He's sharp.
Look out. That's the 14th time he's been hit by a pick. And Blauser doesn't even look out there. He heads on down.
Jeff does a great job of turning away from the ball, takes it on the back of his arm. And if you're wondering, well, that's because of the collision at second base, absolutely not. That was incidental to the throw that Maddux made.
So Ron Gant stands in. Gant 1 out of 3. Over Gant's head. 1 ball, no strikes.
David Justice, you got a glimpse of him in the dugout. He was upset when Blauser got hit. I'm sure that didn't do anything to excite him either, but that was a breaking ball thrown by Brantley that sailed behind Ron. A
pinch hitter will lead off the bottom half of the inning. That's right in there, 1-1. It's like Dave Righetti heating up in the Giant bullpen. Brantley must be a big Don Sutton fan. He's got the same hairdo, sort of. Grounded into right field. A solid hit. Blauser around second. Races for third. Stumbles. Thinks better of it and scrambles back to second. That base has not been his friend today. He's
no.
All sorts of trouble out there.
He wanted third. He wanted it badly after getting hit by the pitch. But watch as he rounds second. He extends himself on the lean a little bit too much, and his feet go out from under him. And makes a good choice there to not risk it going on to third base, especially when you got Fred Mcgriff coming up next with 2 outs.
He's had a fair day, 2 for 3, but they were both homers. About 800 feet worth of home runs from Mcgriff. Manwaring to the mound to talk it over with Brantley, who looked brilliant here until the last 2 hitters.
This trip to the mound just to give Baker and his left-hander Righetti time to get ready.
Tom Hallion breaks up the confab. Now Manwaring's. He's running through some signals for his infielders. I don't know what that could be about. There are 2 out here, unless he's just reminding him to knock down anything that looks like it's headed to the outfield.
Well, it's not going to be Righetti. Pitcher spot due up first in the inning. Maybe he just figures the way Brantley's been pitching, and he has been sharp, that he can retire Mcgriff, and they can use that pinch hitter to start the inning that you mentioned.
Check, swing, strike, 0-1.
That's been his best pitch. He's got a good breaking ball, and he's thrown it for strikes.
Mcgriff has done everything the Braves wanted him to do and more. That's in there, 0-2. Boy, yesterday that Oakland-Milwaukee doubleheader, we were watching it before we left the ballpark, watching it before dinner. Went to dinner, came back, watching it some more. It was on until about midnight.
Yeah, I fell asleep watching it. Nice fisticuffs in extra innings of the doubleheader. Midnight.
High pop foul. Matt Williams coming over. A lot of foul territory here. He's got room. And the inning comes to a close, and the Braves fail to score. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 6-0 Atlanta.
We go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Braves on top by a half dozen, and time for today's Aflac trivia question. Who are the top 3 in Braves franchise history in career home runs? And that dates back to the days of the Boston Braves, so keep that in mind.
Well, I would guess Henry Aaron might be one of them.
He could be.
Eddie Matthews probably one of them.
Might be. Would Ernie Johnson be in there?
No.
But he did have a career homer.
In fact, both Aaron and Matthews would have had more had Ernie been pitching for a different team. Just kidding, Ernie. Steve Scarsoni comes out the pinch hit here for Brantley. Third one, Joe Adcock makes the pitch. Lined into center, base hit. There's the first hit for the Giants. Steve Scarsoni comes off the bench in a 6-run game. Maddux thought he could throw him a strike, but he was chopping away and singled up the middle.
This guy's impressed me during this series, just in his aggressiveness when he's pinch hit, but also watching him in batting practice. He was in regular fashion putting them out over those bleachers in left field today during batting practice. He's got some pop in his bat, and a big strong guy too.
Dave Martinez is the batter. He is tapped to the mound and flied to left. Double play would be nice. Get this thing moving and get us on our charter and head it home. Down and in. 1 ball, no strikes.
You were talking about that doubleheader yesterday. How about that shot that Edwin Nunez put on B.J. Surhoff when about 3 guys were holding Surhoff, had him stretched out like he was on a rack, and Nunez came up and took the cheap shot.
That's what happens when you try to break up a fight. You normally get somebody hurt. Just missed outside. 2-0. Martinez takes a look at Wendell Kim, his third base coach, hoping he has the hit privilege here, but down 6. You'd figure him to take, though. The Giants are a very aggressive team. They had Benzinger swinging the other day, 3-0. Late in the game they were losing, and he's swinging 2-1. That's a great compliment to Maddux. They figure he's going to throw strikes anyway.
They don't hold back anything. Just like when Martinez walked with 2 outs against Brian Harvey the other day. He stole second before Thompson hit the game-winning homer.
The Braves, if they hold on here, will be 5 out on the loss side. Lined into left field. Gant is there, and he's got it. That ball was smoked. A couple of those Martinez has hit today, but both of them out. 1 down. Here's Robbie Thompson, who has struck out both times and is now 5 out of 32 in his career against Maddux. But remember, he has homered in 5 consecutive games. The right-hand hitter stands in.
Maddux has gotten a couple of pitches up this inning, and Berryhill may have made a trip to the mound just to remind him to get the ball back down low. He's got some runs to play with, but don't start getting upstairs.
That's right in there. 0-1. Runner at first, 1 down, 6th inning, 6-0 Atlanta. The Braves have never trailed in this series. Line drive left field. There's a solid hit. Gant up with the ball. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Here's Bonds. Be careful here. This crowd is capacity or close to it, and many of them on their feet now as a man who's a cinch to be the MVP in the National League stands in there.
Skip, all year long, he's been getting hits to get this team going. Whether it was come from behind homers, to tie games, to win games, or whether it was just a base hit to drive in a couple of runs. This is the type situation, though, where he could really get his ball club going. We're only in the 6th inning, but a long one here could really turn their momentum around.
He has struck out both times. He has 5 career homers against Maddux. On the corner, 0-1. Against Greg, Bonds 19 out of 64. High pop. Will it stay in play? Pendleton, a long run. He's got room. He's got it. 2 down. There's a big out. But not out of the woods yet. Matt Williams, the hitter, but that takes a little air out of the Giants. Their big gun has misfired.
He was very frustrated, too, and that ball stayed in play. Good pitch by Maddux that kept it in on Bonds' hands. And the same room that gave Williams a chance to make a play on Fred Mcgriff creates an out for Maddux.
So Bonds takes a seat to watch the proceedings. And Matt Williams stands in. He has flied to right and bounced to third. In the series, Williams 2 out of 10. After 7, the Padres and Cardinals 1-1 today. Just missed the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Todd Benzinger waits on deck. He's in there for Will Clark. Threw it right by him. 1-1. I tell you what, you got to tip your hat to the Braves. Who knows what's going to happen the last 5 weeks? But they have taken care of business the last month. It would have been easy to just tip your hat to the Giants and let them sail away, but this ball club has refused to do that.
Well, and they've done it without playing well at home, too.
Yeah.
19-2 in their last 21 road games.
Off the end of the bat, and Maddux ahead on the count, 1-2, and he's got a pitch to play with right here.
Greg's fastball to right-handed hitters is so tough when he starts it outside. They have a tendency to give up on it, and he is so pinpoint with it, getting it to run back over the outside corner makes it awfully tough, number 1, to stay with that pitch, and number 2, to do anything with it.
The stretch. The 1-2 just missed inside. He had a good idea. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, when you watch him pitch, it's almost like he's pitching from about 45 feet away. His control is so good, it's like he's got an advantage over everybody.
Here's a big pitch in the game. 2-2. Williams has 1 home run in his career against Greg. He's got another hit. That'll score a run. It's 6-1. The other runner stops at second. Benzinger, the hitter. Williams drives in his 85th run of the year. This thing is far from over. Here's Benzinger.
Looked like Berryhill wanted the pitch away, but that's not where it was delivered. It came back over the middle part of the plate. That one got away from Greg, and it cost him a run.
Benzinger stands in there. He's had good luck against Maddux in his career, 7 out of 22 against him. And he's been a hot hitter lately. He's hitting .289, a homer, 12 RBI. But just a .242 batter from the left side. And he pops that up, and the inning will be over, and Pendleton in foul territory puts it away. So Benzinger, hitting in Clark's place in the order, fails to deliver. 1 run on 3 hits. No errors, 2 left. 6 innings have gone by, and the Braves lead it 6-1.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, to remind you friends know when to say when.
Not far from Candlestick Park, out in the bay, The Rock, Alcatraz. And I'm sure the Giants beginning to feel like the walls are closing in on them a little bit. Time for today's answer to the Aflac trivia question. Who are the top 3 home run hitters in Braves franchise history? I'm sure Mr. Aaron is at the top of the list, along with... Oh, did you say Adcock or Murph?
I said Adcock. And I was wrong.
I said Murphy, but I don't think I voiced it out loud.
You sure did. Steve Scarsoni is at third. Dave Righetti is the pitcher. And David Justice leads off the 7th inning. And Matt Williams is out of the game, so 2 of the 3 men in that murderer's row are gone for the day, Clark and Williams. Righetti pitched here the other night without much success. An inning, 2 hits and a run. Justice doesn't catch up to it.
That move surprises me. Taking his thunder out of the cleanup spot when you need to score runs in bunches to catch up. But I'm sure the Braves will welcome that.
A ball and a strike to count to Justice. 2 out of 3. He's hit the ball hard every time. Both hits have left the old yard. And he had designs on the third one, but chased one out of the zone.
Yesterday, after 5 innings, Justice came into the bench and said, boy, the wind's playing havoc out in right field. It's really pushing the balls that way. Pendleton says, well, I guess I'll have to hit one that way. And he hit one out to right center. When Justice hit his homer, he said Righetti's going to hang one and hit it in the upper deck, and David did.
And then Pendleton retired from the prediction business 2 out of 2.
Yeah, Leo Mazzoni says, keep it up. Trey said, no, I think I'll stop while I'm ahead.
I think Jeff Porter probably said the same thing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's foul past first base coach Pat Corrales. 6-12-2 for Atlanta. 1-3-0 for the Giants. Boy, fans have changed a little bit, Joe. Earlier this year, a couple of weeks ago, Tom Glavine had a bad outing and was booed a little bit when he left the field. Same thing happened to Bill Swift today. He's 17-5 for them coming in. The large majority of the fans are supportive, but some of those Wahoos, boy, they're tough to please. Or Yahoos, whatever you call them. We don't know which of those are the Yahoos and which aren't.
Well, the ones that were booing were.
Yes. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pop. Let's see if the wind plays games with that. Thompson going out. He's got it. 1 away. Terry Pendleton, the batter, 1 for 2 with a walk. We've really been goodwill ambassadors on this trip out here, haven't we? Made a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was encouraging to see you and Don out early going through your
cheerleading routine. Yes. He stole all the pom-poms, though. I'm a little upset about that. Pendleton stands in.
By the way, you 2 guys really look good in saddle Oxfords, too.
Thank you. One ball, no strikes. That's on the corner. It's 1-1. Damon Berryhill is on deck. 6-1 Atlanta, 7th inning. Cubbies in town Friday night. They play later at Montreal. That ball is well hit into left field. Back goes Bonds. He looks up. That ball is gone. Home run, Pendleton. I'm not so sure, but a fan didn't reach out and steal that for Terry. But he'll take it, and it's 7-1. They throw the ball back. Maybe if they'd have let it alone, it would have been a double, but the Braves will take it.
I'm not sure how close those seats come to the outfield fence.
Can't tell from here, can you?
Yeah, if they butt right up to the fence, I think he did perhaps help Terry out a little bit. Another hanging breaking ball. This time Terry takes advantage of it. A low liner. Bonds looked like he was going to have a play, but then a fan reaches over
that ball
and
was
gloved it.
It was over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
There is enough room between the two that was a home run, whether the fan touches it or not. Well, that's only 5 home runs today, and it's 7-1. Big deal, Pendleton. You've only hit 1. The other guys hit 2 each.
Yeah, but he's got 2 in 2 days. He's trying to do them on a more consistent basis.
Guy's starting to yawn in our dugout. I almost hate to see that, but 7-1, and it's so quiet here. This crowd was so jazzed up at the start of all 3 games, but the Giants have never led. Right now you could hear a deli sandwich drop. It's so quiet. From the great deli company. A ball and 2 strikes, the count.
Other things on their minds now.
Perhaps she's saying it's okay to take that cruise in October. Here's the catch by McGee. Long way to go, but the Braves have come in here and, barring a total collapse, done more really than not more than they wanted to do, but they would have been thrilled to death with 2 out of 3 here. 3 is gravy against a team this good. The Giants have not been swept in a series, I'm told, all year long, home or road.
That's correct.
Well, they're 3 innings away from 9 outs away from having it happen here. The Limmer takes it low. 1 ball, no strikes. Padres bat bottom of the 8th. 1-1 with St. Louis. I wish I knew what hotel the A's stayed at on Milwaukee. I meant to call Dick Stockton this morning about 8 o'clock after that. Hey, Dick, how you doing, buddy?
He had a good line about 1 a.m. Milwaukee time when he said, this may take a while to run this one down tonight. Recap it.
They had a 3.5-hour first game and about 5.5 hours before that second game came to a close. The 2-1 pitch. Grounded toward third. Scarsoni has it. And the inning is over, but not before the Braves add an insurance run. The Pendleton homer, the only hit of the inning. We go to the bottom half of the 7th with your score, 7-1 Atlanta.
Braves on top now, 7-1. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And coming up Sunday at 8 o'clock, the NFL on TNT previews the upcoming season with a special 2-hour stadium show from Texas Stadium. Bob Neal, Kevin Kiley, and Ernie Johnson Jr. are your hosts, and that'll be Sunday at 8 o'clock on TNT.
And here we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Willie McGee will lead it off. And he swings and misses. It's 0-1. Dan Regan, our director today, and Glenn Dreaded Glitch Diamond, our producer. Pardon me, Glenn? You can't say that on television. 0-1 the count. Looping liner foul. It's 0-2. Our associate director is Laurie Brooks. Our statistician, Hollywood Hal Galima. And Ashley Gallagher here in charge of destroying rental cars. Fly ball well hit left field. Back goes Gant, shy of the track. 1 out.
Braves offense by scoring early and often certainly made life easier for Avery, Glavine, and Maddux, but 9 hits for Atlanta in game 1, 11 yesterday, and already 13 today.
We have a very close crew here, but closer than ever after yesterday. 6 people in the crew, including me, in a very small car. For one of our rental cars died an untimely death in the Giant parking lot. 0-1 the count.
Maybe it was sabotaged by a Giant fan.
Could be. 0-2. Another of the people was Glenn Dreaded Glitch Diamond, so it was a very noisy trip back to the downtown area. 0-2 the count. A ball and 2 strikes to Clayton. Now the 1-2 pitch. Just missed the outside corner. 2-2. Clayton has walked and bounced to second. On Friday night, we'll be with you at 7:35, and John Smoltz and Mike Harkey will be the pitchers. Fly ball foul to right. Maybe Don and I should wear short shorts and halter tops and lead the team out Friday night in Atlanta, you think?
Crash through a banner.
There ain't enough money in the world, baby. The 2-2 pitch. Missed inside. Full count. Maddux has breezed right along here. He is really a good pitcher. I'll tell you this. If this game stays the way it is, when you talk to the Braves management and players after the game. Deep short. I don't know if Blauser has a chance to throw him out. Yes, sir. No, it's safe. But the throw pulled him off. Mcgriff can't believe it. But he had to leave the bag, says Steve Ripley, and the runner is at first with one out. Great effort by Blauser.
Tough hop to handle, too, throwing across his body. The ball's dying a little bit. Nice stretch by Fred, but apparently not able to keep his toe on the base, so says first base umpire Steve Ripley, and it'll go as a base hit.
Looked like he kept it on there, but you really can't tell from this angle. Kurt Manwaring, the batter.
Ripley was right there. He had a good angle on it. But the funny part about that kind of play is that first basemen are all forever coming off the bag a little early on balls they don't have to stretch for. And not much is said about it, but certainly on a close play like that, it goes against him.
Started to say, you talk to anybody in the Atlanta party after the game, and they will tell you that they were shocked that this game, if it stays like it is, was as easy as it was with Swift on the mound. You figured if the Giants were going to have a good one, it would be today. They're not done yet, but it looks very good at this juncture. That makes it look a little better. 6-4-3. Manwaring grounds into his second double play of the day. One hit. No runs, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 7, Braves are breezing. They lead it by 6.
Checking the Delta scoreboard, the Philadelphia Phillies got a win for Curt Schilling today, his 11th of the year. Bobby Bonilla hit his 29th homer in a losing cause for the Mets. St. Louis and San Diego were tied in the 8th. Other games in the National League underway a little bit later on. Toronto stays hot. They beat Cleveland. Detroit over Seattle 7-4, despite Ken Griffey Jr. hitting 2 home runs today. And the other games in the American League will get started a little bit later. That game in Detroit last night. Oh, by the way, scores and highlights later tonight on CNN Sports Tonight. Nick Charles and Fred Hickman at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. But some interesting things with Ken Griffey Jr. yesterday. The Tigers dusted him a couple of times after something he did in a game at Seattle. He went 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Today he bounces back with 2 homers.
I'll say this for Griffey. It's almost like he felt he deserved it last night. He just took the knockdowns, and I was amazed that there was no warning issue. But I guess we spend enough time on the umpires in this league. We better leave them alone over there. Maddux leads off the 8th, and the exits are jammed with people heading for the freeway here. 7-1 Atlanta. A lot of folks trying to beat the traffic, which is impossible to do here ever since the terrible earthquake of a few years ago. Traffic is a bear. 1-2 the count. One and two the count. Maddux has himself a hit on the day, one of 13 Atlanta safeties.
You were talking about Billy Swift a minute ago and the fact that the Braves anticipated a rough battle today, which everybody expected. The thing about Swift is that he gave up a season high in hits and earned runs today. A very odd outing for him. The thing about his arm strength always comes up. I mean, it seems to be talked about a lot, the fact that he's never thrown more than 175 innings in a year. But today, very unusual in the fact that he was upstairs with a lot of pitches and the Braves capitalized.
Pop fouled out of play to the right, still 3-2. I'll tell you what, we're going to get him again in Atlanta, and I wish we didn't, because he's a tough competitor. I think he'll really try to atone for this one, but there's never been a pitcher born who hasn't had a day like this.
He'll get an extra day's rest, too, before that start next Tuesday in Atlanta.
Up the middle, base hit Maddux, so he's not content with a 6-run lead. And he's 2 out of 4. That's 14 safeties for Atlanta. And here's Otis Nixon, who's had a good solid day. He's played the role of leadoff man to perfection. 2 out of 4, 2 runs scored.
The only guys in the lineup without a hit today, Mark Lemke and Damon Berryhill.
And folks, if you're Braves fans and you're dancing in the streets, as it were, because of this sweep, you'd still rather be in the Giants spot than the Braves. They will be 5 up on the loss side with 5 weeks to go. Mike Jackson gets up in the Giant bullpen. They go to Florida while we go home to play the Cubs. Smoltz against Harkey Friday. Avery against Jose Guzman on Saturday, and Glavine against Greg Hibbert on Sunday. On one hop, he boots it, recovers, close, but he got him at first. Lost any chance he had at the double play, and I really don't think he had one. So Otis gets the runner to second with 1 out. Here's Jeff Blauser.
And he made the right choice. Instead of going to second to get the lead runner, he got the fast runner instead.
Jeff Blauser stands in 2 out of 4. He might be a little gimpy tomorrow after that collision with Will Clark. He got hit by a pitch. He almost fell on his face rounding second. He was involved in a big collision at second. He's had an adventuresome day. Right off the end of the bat, 0-1.
And he has bruises all over him to start play today.
But I'll tell you what, Blauser is not a spectacular player, but he came into this game 4th in the league in runs scored, 5th in on-base percentage, 14 homers for a shortstop. Made his first error in 16 games today. He's played brilliantly defensively at shortstop. He doesn't make sensational plays, but you analyze his entire game, he's a pretty good ball player.
Outstanding ball player. I think he gets lost a little bit with all the power displays sometimes. I mean, he's got some pop in his bat in his own right, as evidenced by the homers, but he gets a little bit overshadowed by the speedsters in front of him and the power guys behind him.
He's going to have a career high in homers, career high in RBIs, by far his best year defensively in 1993. He yanks that ball foul. And the Braves have a kid at AAA, Chipper Jones, who is looked upon as, by many, not just in the Braves organization, but by many around baseball, as the brightest prospect anywhere in the minor leagues. But I'll tell you what, he's going to have to go some if he's going to take this guy's job. Alvin Dark, the last Brave shortstop to hit over 300. Whether Jeff will or not remains to be seen, but you know it's a great year for him. He hit that ball hard. Martinez on to make the catch. 2 down.
Think about the times, too. Skip, one more thing about Jeff. How many times he's given himself up to get runners over that cost him at bats instead of sacrifices. So maybe his average would be more up around 310 or 315 were it not if he were a little more selfish.
Well, he knows the situation with Blauser and Mcgriff and Justice and Pendleton behind him. He does his job. Chipper Jones is going to be a fine player, but he's made 40 errors in AAA. Is his future at shortstop in Atlanta or at some other position? I don't know the answer to that. But it's going to be tough to move Jeff Blauser out of the shortstop position in Atlanta, Georgia for the next few years. Ron Gant, the batter. Big breaking curveball is right in there. Ron is 2 out of 4 with an RBI today. He's got 86 RBIs. Justice now with 87. Justice now with 32 homers. Gant with 31. They've had a good horse race all year long. See if Gant can tie it up again. Not with that swing. 1-2 with 2 out and a runner at second. Greg Maddux sort of ambling around out there at second base. He's a very relaxed performer.
He's one of those guys that he doesn't show a lot of emotion, but he really has fun playing this game.
Who, Maddux? Yeah. Did he go? No. 2-2.
He gives you the impression, I'm talking about Maddux again, that he'd be just as happy playing this game if it was on Sunday afternoon and you just called and got up a bunch of guys to play.
Well, maybe not just as happy. He might still be happy, but
he might arrive in a different type of vehicle.
A $4 or $5 million a year difference. High fly ball. He just missed it in short left. Bonds. Maddux rounds the bases, but Bonds makes the catch. And the inning is over. 1 hit, no runs. No errors. 1 left. Bottom of the 8th. Braves on top 7-1. Bottom half of the 8th inning, you see one of the big stars of the Giants this year, Rod Beck, throwing in the bullpen. He might come on here and pitch the 9th just to get a little work.
Yeah, he hasn't been in a ballgame since Saturday.
And they have an off day tomorrow before they travel to Florida. Well, how big is Robbie Thompson's clutch 2-out, 2-strike homer on Sunday now? Scarsoni leads off the bottom of the 8th. He singled his first time on the first pitch. Doesn't catch up with this one. 0-1.
Sweeps are an amazing thing in terms of the damage it does to a ball club catching up and maybe demoralizing the team a little bit that's in front. You mentioned the Giants still with a nice lead, but think what might have happened if the sweep had gone the other way and the Braves leave town 10.5 back.
11 on the loss.
Yeah.
We want to thank our booth assistant, Carrie Brooks, for her good work out here from Atlanta to help us through this series by the Bay. And that makes it a 1-2 count on Steve Scarsoni. The Braves have been a juggernaut in this series. Stays the same. Why are you shaking your head, Joe?
Because it's been incredible to watch.
It really has, hasn't it? Braves have never trailed in this series. Fly ball, foul again. Atlanta took the lead in the 2nd inning on Monday night. Took the lead in the 1st inning yesterday, 1st inning today.
There's something to smile about. Nice play by the fan in the club level.
Let's look at that again. There's the first out. Scarsoni is retired. Maddux records his 5th strikeout. He has been in complete control. Dave Martinez is the batter. He's been a dry Martinez today, 0 for 3.
Who?
Seven, 14-2 for the Braves. 1-4-0 for the Giants. Had a good cut and a pitch up in his eyes. 0-1. Pirates and Dodgers play later. Jim Leyland wigged out a little bit yesterday. Went after Kevin Gross. Nothing wrong with his courage. Gross, a big man.
That's about the 3rd time that's happened to Leyland this year, though, over battles where somebody's been hit by pitches and his team comes up on the short end of it. He'd had enough. Took matters into his own hands.
He got thrown out of a game earlier this year when I think it was the Cubs hit his leadoff man, and then they come over and warn him, and he went nuts. He said, "What did I do? We haven't had a chance to do anything yet. Goodbye." He's a terrific manager. A little chopper back to the mound. 2 gone. It is really quiet here in Candlestick this afternoon. Robbie Thompson is the batter.
Be interesting to see what happens to the Giants' right side of their infield at the end of the season, no matter who wins it. Thompson and Will Clark will both be free agents. Thompson's picked a nice time to have maybe his finest year.
Looks at a strike. It's 0-1. And with the Giants, it has been publicly stated, will finish in the red this year. Their great left fielder, Bobby Bonds, with a tremendous contract. You wonder how much money they can pay to if they can pay enough to keep those two fine players.
Well, think about the way the Braves have been able to compete the last 3 seasons. First, they had to fight off the Dodgers. Then last year, they had to fight off the Reds. This year, it's another ball club. You wonder, you know, the old days, teams stayed intact. It was an annual battle pretty much against the same teams. Now it just seems to be rotating. It's a wonder the Braves have been able to keep everything together so far.
And there's a little message for Thompson. Brushed him off the plate a little bit. 2-2 the count. Peter McGowan, the gentleman in the tie there, is the new owner of the Giants. Grounded foul. Still 2-2. And the one unfortunate thing about that, and it's happening all around baseball, is the great rivalries that used to build up, like the Braves and Dodgers, who battled one another throughout the early 80s. Those are a thing of the past because it's musical chairs now. It's the way the game is. Grounded foul again. It's 2-2. And let's face it, the Braves will have decisions to make at the end of the year. Financial consideration. Gantz had a terrific year. Justice has had a terrific year. We just talked about Blauser. Mark Lemke, by far his best major league season.
That's
just
where
missed 3-2.
That's where the Braves are more fortunate than the other organizations right now, in that they can afford to make adjustments in their personnel at the big league level because of the talent that's ready to surface just below them. Minor league system really putting out the people right now.
He chased what might have been ball 4, fouled it away. You know, Thompson has homered in 5 consecutive games, and Giant fans would like that string to keep going, no matter what else happens here this afternoon. The 3-2 pitch is due him. Line, base hit left field, his second hit of the day. He's aboard with 2 out for Bonds, who is hitless and is yet to get the ball out of the infield, but he's a tough hitter. Bobby Bonds talks to Thompson at first base.
And instead of Matt Williams being on deck behind him with 2 outs, backup catcher Jeff Reed has a bat. He would be the pinch hitter for Righetti, who was penciled into that spot.
Leo Mazzoni to the mound, and the Braves bullpen begins to stir. Mike Stanton will get up. Mark Wohlers will get up. Check it. It's McMichael, not Wohlers. Mac normally doesn't get up till the 9th inning. Now Tom Hallion starts out to break up the conversation, but Mazzoni is already headed back to the Atlanta bench. Berryhill and Maddux talk it over, and now we're ready to go.
With McMichael up, maybe that gives you an idea how important it is to Bobby Cox to come out of here. Now that he's got a 6-run lead and a chance to sweep, he doesn't want to take any chances.
I would really just assume that Mac would take this day off as much as he's pitched.
This is not just any day, though.
That's right.
Big day.
And off days in our future. An off day tomorrow, an off day Monday. The Giants are off on Saturday in Florida because of a football game at Joe Robbie. Base hit center field Bonds. And now Reed comes to the plate with a chance to make it a 3-run game were he to get a hold of one. And nothing against him, and you don't know what will happen, but you'd rather have, if you're a Braves fan, you'd rather face him than Matt Williams, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and that's what I was talking about earlier, Skip, that if you're down by big numbers, the only way you can really catch up late in a ball game would seem to be in bunches by way of 3-run homers or grand slams, and certainly Matt Williams is capable of providing that. And no knock to Jeff Reed, but Matt Williams is the guy that is normally penciled into that cleanup spot.
Reed waits. Little tapper to the mound. That'll end it. He'll tag him on the way by. The 0-1 unassisted trick, and the inning is over. So the Bonds single and the Thompson single mean nothing. Reed is retired. 2 hits, no runs, no errors, 2 left. Braves lead it 7-1 as Beck comes in to pitch the 9th.
Braves with 7 runs on 14 hits. They got started in good fashion in the first inning with a run home. 2 down. Looked like Billy Swift might be out of the inning. But then Fred McGriff launched a 400-foot-plus homer to the opposite field. That made it 2-0. David Justice followed him with on a high flat sinker. Launched it into the seats. That made it 3-0. Braves got another run in the second inning. Then in the 5th, again back-to-back homers. McGriff this time to deep right center field. Looked like that one hit the scoreboard out there, just below the scoreboard. And David Justice again, his second homer of the day, also off Swift. He gave up 4 homers on the day. Terry Pendleton hit one later off of Dave Righetti. 5 homers total for Atlanta.
And Rod Beck is in the game, and that's a strike to McGriff to even the count at 1-1. Beck 2-1, a 1.79 and 38 saves. This is his 59th appearance. He's just getting some work. Wow, that ball was really hit hard. 1-2 the count.
Fred has been stinging them today. He fouled out his last time up, but everything else has been hammered.
Greg Maddux has headed to the clubhouse for Atlanta, so his day's work is over. And there's another hit for Fred McGriff. Martinez has it on 1 hop. And surprisingly, Greg McMichael is throwing, but remember, an off day tomorrow. Now he is finished down there. Finished throwing.
That gives the Braves 35 hits in these 3 games.
And they've given up how many? Let's see. 6, 16, 24. Scott Sanderson throws in their bullpen, but probably just getting some work. He's a starting pitcher. Well, let's see if Justice can hit his 3rd or if they can go back-to-back with singles. As we figured, Will Clark re-aggravated his injury to his right knee that was hurt last week against the Cubs, and he's being examined even as we speak. On the corner to Justice. It's 1-2, and we're in the 9th, and the Braves are breezing 7-1. They've out-hit the Giants 15-6. Justice can't believe it, but he's out of there, 1 away.
Rod Beck has done a great job for Dusty Baker and the Giants this year. Showed you his save numbers, but he has an excellent split finger pitch that helps him record his strikeouts. That's number 70 in 60 innings.
Terry Pendleton stands in. We didn't show you a replay of his home run, but it was a line drive over the over the left center field wall. 0-1 the count. But he only hit 1, so we're punishing him. High pop, left side. Scarsoni loses the ball, and it drops. And Pendleton gets a swing on the house.
Steve trying to figure out where the stands are, but forgot about where the baseball might be. His navigation off just a tad. And really not much wind today.
But a lot of sun. But I know a great fly hawk like yourself can't believe that ball wasn't caught.
I did not envy those guys yesterday, battling the sun and that stiff breeze.
It was only later that we really laughed at the one hit to Justice. After you win, it's okay to laugh at that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 out. We're really just playing out the string here. Get this one over with and go home, get ready for the Cubs.
There's
second
pitch.
Second for Beck.
It's a beauty. He throws it hard and really does go down. Watch that thing sink. Good pitch.
Damon Berryhill bats. 0 for 4, and that ball is well stroked. Martinez looks up. Say goodbye. Well, let's make it 9-1, and that's 6 home runs on the day. Boy, he hit the daylights out of that. So Rod Beck, this is almost a little like a Western Union wire. Yeah, we can maybe hit him too. 9-1 the score.
That's the 7th homer he's allowed, and that was a bomb. Every one of them hit today has been just raked. Fastball out away from him, and Damon went out and got it to straightaway center field. It's 400 to straightaway center here at Candlestick. Wind didn't help that one. There is none today.
Good series for Damon. 4 out of 11 and 3 RBIs. Lemke takes one high and tight. Four and a half out and 5 on the loss side.
I don't know about you, but I think the plane ride is going to be better on the Braves Delta charter than it might be on that giant flight down to Florida.
I think so. 2 balls, no strikes. High pop. That will reach the seats. They're in extra innings in San Diego. The Cardinals and Padres 1-1.
Berryhill got his hit, a long one. Let's see if Mark can join the hit parade.
16 of them for Atlanta and 9 runs, and the Braves have made a statement here, but they still trail by 5 on the loss side. He strikes out the side, but in between a couple of hits, one of them leaving the ballpark. 2 hits, 2 runs. No errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 9-1 Atlanta. Well, we got brooms and tomahawks all over the place now, and the Braves lead at 9-1, and Greg McMichael comes into the game. McMichael appears in his 59th game. This is not, of course, a save opportunity. It's 9-1 Atlanta. We never got the paid attendance here today, but a fine crowd, most of whom have already left. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Benzinger fouls it past first base coach Bobby Bond. A couple of 2-run victories for Atlanta, and today a slaughter. Fouled away. It's 1-2.
Kind of game you might think McMichael would get a day off.
Yeah,
70 innings this year.
I'm surprised he's in there. I really am.
70 innings this year, 58 appearances. This is number 59. That's almost double what he worked last year. Last year he was in 34 ball games, but he made a lot of starts, especially at Richmond, so he racked up a lot more innings.
Well, I'm sure they talked to him, and he said he feels fine, so let her rip. High pop foul, still out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. The Cubs play at Montreal tonight, and then journey into Atlanta tomorrow for their weekend series. Upstairs, 2-2. In the other baseball, we might as well run that down for you. Toronto beat Cleveland 10-7. Detroit over Seattle 7-4. The other action is tonight. Line fouls. Still 2-2. In the National League, the Phillies 8-5 over the Rockies. That's a final. The Reds over the Mets 4-1. After 9, the Cardinals and Padres are 1-1. They continue to play in the 10th inning. And the other act. How'd you get out there, Joe? The other action is tonight.
That's Sutton. Pete's over here on the right field line.
A strike zone has to be thrown out. 1 down. A lot of Braves fans will be savoring the great ambiance of San Francisco celebrating this game tonight. They'll be celebrating it tonight.
Be dancing in the streets of Union Square.
I don't know about that. McGee fouls it off to the left. 0-1. You start dancing around Union Square, you never know for sure who's going to be dancing with you. Looped foul down the left field side. It's 0-2. McGee is 0 for 3. Jaws missed the outside corner. 1-2. We'll reach at 7:35 on Friday night. He's got a chance to strike out the side. That was foul tipped into the glove of Berryhill. Royce Clayton will be the batter.
Braves have done a great job pitching-wise, controlling the guys that have had terrific years. McGee's 0 for 4 today. That makes him 2 for 13 in the series. Williams was 1 for 3 today. That made him 3 for 11. Bonds 1 for 4. That made him 3 for 11. Drove in a run. Only 1 RBI out of the heart of their order.
0-1 the count to Clayton. This will be the first time all year the Giants have been swept. Chopped foul. Now 1 pitch away.
Let me correct myself. 2 RBIs. Williams had 1 today.
Well, let's go home, Greg. Thank you. That's that, and the Braves have moved right back into the race in the West with a sweep of the Giants, and this one was easy. 9-1 the final score. Totals and highlights after this.
'93 Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light. Head for the mountains of Bush. By Delta Airlines, the official airline of the Atlanta Braves. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. By Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide. And by Coca-Cola Classic, always a big hit, always Coca-Cola.
It's a clean sweep for the Braves. They make it 9-1 over the Giants today. They scored early. They scored often. and really took the fun out of it here for the fans at Candlestick Park. 9 runs, 16 hits, 2 errors, and 8 men left on base for Atlanta. A run on 6 hits, no errors, and 6 left on for San Francisco. Greg Maddux pitched 8 strong innings, picked up his 15th win of the year. Billy Swift had lost only to lower division teams this year before today, but he got knocked out after 4 1/3 innings. 17-6 now in the year for Swift. The Braves do their work in 2 hours and 49 minutes, and a huge crowd here at Candlestick Park, 53,510. That changes the look of the standings. The Braves over the last 6 weeks had only been able to pick up a game and a half with their fine play, but with their work here in this series, they pick up 3 additional games in just a little over 48 hours, and now have closed the gap within 4.5 games of the Giants. Our Holiday Inn players of the game, we've got co-players with Fred McGriff and David Justice, who went back-to-back with home runs twice today, once in the first inning, once in the 5th inning. McGriff had 3 hits, Justice 2. They each delivered a couple of runs. Congratulations to them for their fine play.
And we're back at them on Friday night when the Cubs come to call at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The game is a sellout. John Smoltz and Mike Harkey will do the pitching. 9-1 the final here this afternoon. Don't forget tonight at 8:05 Papillon with Dustin Hoffman and Steve McQueen is the movie. For Joe Simpson, for Pete Van Wieren, Don Sutton, our entire TBS crew. Skip Carey from San Francisco. The Braves are back in the race. So long, everybody.